Okay, this is going to be a tutorial on how to use the pen tool. You guys, I showed you earlier with the pads and we were making drawing lines with it. Well, this time we're going to use it as a selection. So if you go over here to this little thing here, actually it would be on pen tool originally if you just opened it up, but you click and hold and hit the pen tool. First thing you're going to do is select a spot to start. I'm going to start at this little corner and then I'm just going to click and release at little intervals. There you go. And what you want to do is get as close to the edge as you can. Down here is a little difficult because it is so dark. And you can put as many points as you want, although the fewer the better. The fewer you have, the more rounded or smooth you'll get. And with this apple, I think we need that. So I'm going to get the stem as well. I'm going to go up here, and each time I hit either a high or a low, I'm going to click. Now, to make it one selection, you're going to go back to the original and click it. And so now it's all, the pen tool has selected all these areas. But if you notice, there's areas in there that don't really work, that's showing the apple where it should be selected. What we have to do is go back into the pen tool and go to the Convert Point tool. Now when we do this, when we click, hold, and as we hold, you see I'm moving. I want to move it so that one or the other edge fits nicely. Let go, and then I'm going to click it again so that I'm going, whoops, sorry guys, I'm going to change the view. See, if I click and hold and release, when I go back into the other tool, it's going to do these equal. I don't want them equal because the apple's not equal. So if I grab one of the handles and move it, what I'm doing is I'm telling them, hey, I don't want these to function as one, I want them to function as separate. But so we're going to do this with every one of them so that we get that functionality that we want. And right now I'm kind of doing a rough, it's not like a rough sketch kind of thing, because I'm going to go back and fine tune. So if you just go in here just to get this set up for what you're going to do with it. Now down here, since I can't see, I'm not going to go into much detail. I'm just going to do this so that I can and I forgot to do this over here, so that I can work with it on the bottom. It's not a big deal. Normally you'd want to get all the different places, but for now this is good. There we go. And if you notice I'm twisting it all the way around, it's because technically it was backwards or wrong. So if I twist it, it's not going to do the selection as I need, and it's going to kind of go opposite of what looks good or what I'm supposed to be doing. Okay, so let's finish up here. I think I have a few more. Oops. And you just, if you play with these, you know, you'll see the curves and just kind of play around to see what works best. You're going to have to go and fine tune, but for now, you know, just get a generalized feel for it. Because when we fine tune is when you're really going to get into it. Now this is where it gets difficult. It's right in here where it's so tight it's hard to see. Okay, so now that we've got our general selection, I'm going to go back into this tool. This is the direct selection tool. From there, I'm going to zoom in and I'm going to fine tune this. So if I click on the point I need, I'm going to fine tune and get that right where I need it. So if I click and I hold it, hold the click, you can move it. You can actually move the point itself. So what I'm doing is I'm going each one of these and I'm just looking for the path. And as I see, you know, little areas that I can adjust to get that dark, to get the selection as best you can. Because when I put it on a white background, it's going to change. You'll see that in a minute when I get to that portion of it. So again, we're just doing the selection. I'm trying to do this quickly. I'm not doing that well, but I'm not feeling that great. So, okay, so just, you see I'm fine-tuning it. I'm getting as best I can, as many of these curves as I can, as close as I can to the edge. Now this is the best thing about this pen tool, is that you can get that close. You can get a nice clean edge. It is one of the most, I'd say, one of the best ways to get as close or exact as you can without actually being exact. Of course, that's nearly impossible. But what this will do is it'll give you the closest selection, and it won't cause problems color-wise. Whoops. Or I'm sorry, because you know how it has a halo effect? This will help with that, because you can fine-tune to that level. I can take a little bit of that if I want. You don't have to. We can go back after the fact and do the refined edge. Well, it's not called that anymore, but we've talked about that. Okay, so you see how I'm doing this? I'm just going around and I'm fine-tuning and getting this, moving the different points. You don't have to play with them until you get the hang of it. It'll come. Sometimes it's a little bit more difficult, and they think this is a hard. It really isn't that hard. Oh, see, now this one didn't have anything. I forgot to do this. So I'm going to go back with this one, do what I needed to, and again change it, then go back into this tool. Because if I don't have the handles, I can't move it. Whoops, see, and it's going backwards, so there we go. That's what I meant by backwards. Okay, so a little bit more. And I'm going to have you guys do a one that's a little bit more difficult, because I think this is definitely, especially those of you that are going into graphic arts, you need to know this. Okay, so I have my basic selection. Let me zoom back out. Now remember what we did with paths? We're going to go back. Oh, I already have it. Normally it's on layers, but go back to paths, and you remember how you select this? You hold down Control and click. So now you have that selection. See, there's a selection. With that selected, you go back to layers. Now you're on this one that you selected from, and now let's mask it, which is this right here. So mask. And what that does is it masks everything. So let me turn this off. See what happened? It masks everything that was outside of the selection. So this is what I mean by halo. See this little thing? It's kind of blurry. That's okay. Let me turn the white on. It's easier to see. Because technically, you're going to have some of that. You're going to feather into the next thing. So if I were to put this, let's say, with a basket or something else, I could get it to look like it fits within that. And I also can change this and put highlights and different things later on, or I could even sharpen the edges. For now, we're just going to leave it as it is. So again, this is a little tutorial on how to use a pen tool. Use this as much as you can. And another one, I'm going to go into a little bit different. It's a little bit harder, the next one.